Hi everyone, Brian from Bearable Traders here. It's the weekend, June 11th. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. Of course, this is the weekend video. We'll go over what happened last week and what we got coming this week. And there's lots of stuff that's going to be interesting for the markets again. So let's get down to it. Starting out with what happened last week, quick review. Of course, Friday, that highly anticipated CPI number came out, much higher than expected. Surprised everybody, including myself. Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index also dropped significantly, which was another negative for the market. So, of course, markets sold off significantly as a result, and they already had started to on Thursday. But you can see here on the week we were down significantly, anywhere from 4.3 to 5.7% on the indexes. And of course, areas of strength and weakness, there really wasn't any strength at all. Energy was the strongest of the sectors, but it was still red on the week. Technology and financials were the weakest, and of course all the sectors were in the red for the week overall. 10-year Treasury note, of course, really jumped up on that higher than expected CPI number, inflation number, so it went up to 3.19%. We're back over 3% here. The 2-year actually also jumped up over 3%, 3.06 finished it out. And the U.S. dollar rallied back up hard Thursday and Friday on these higher rates as well. So higher interest rates usually result in a strong dollar. And before we get going on looking at some charts here, this is my new book on Amazon, Profiting as an Active Trader. And if you haven't checked it out yet, it's brand new, May 31st, put it out. And if you're more of a beginner, starting out, this is my previous book, How to Swing Trade. So one or two of those books could be of interest to you if you haven't checked them out already. So let's take a look at the charts here. You can see here the 2-year I already mentioned just jumped right up here. It's been hanging around this 2.6, 2.7 level for quite some time. And then we had that inflation number that came out Friday, and we just ripped higher on the 2-year. And 10-year responded pretty much accordingly, and we've broken out to a high here. 3.12 was the previous high. We are on the verge of breaking out here, or just already have slightly. So the interest rates are creeping up. And if you look at through some of these indexes here, transports starting out, you can see here we had through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right back down. And I've mentioned already here, or I'm going to mention that we are near pretty much prior levels of support, and looking for either of them to hold here or we head lower. So you can see here the transports were pretty much right at a level of support, and looking like we're about to break down here. And here's your 200-day, which is usually a pretty strong level of support. So we may be heading down that way if we break this 13,000 on the transports. But RSI continuing to make lower highs here. And the Dow, sort of same, all the same sort of comments here. We've really started to break down. We're right at an area of prior support, right back at this low here that we made back in late May, middle of May. You can see here all these momentum indicators are all looking like heading south. So we may have a bounce here, but again, the trend is still lower. You can see here on a weekly, we just keep making lower highs. And again, sort of same comment. We did kind of get a bit more of a bounce here on the daily on the Qs. We did try to come back up, tried to hold this level, maybe break out at the 310 level, and now we're right back down to an area where there was significant support in middle to late May. Again, same sort of comment there. You can see the volume's pretty light on a lot of these, even though we have been selling off. And the SPY, really same comment, right down near an area of support on the daily and the weekly here. So again, looking at these 200-day moving averages, 340 could be an area, and that would correspond to this area that we broke out from back here on the SPY. Again, volume building, but lighter than we had back in May when we had the selling going on. The IWM actually it was the best performing index. You know, it was down the least, if you want to say that. Pretty significant volume on Friday, but it was down the least of all the indexes on the week. And again, with this area, this 200-day moving average, you can see here where we found support before, and again where we'll probably find some support again. But we're watching that level pretty closely. If we lose it, it could be heading quite a bit lower. So this is one of the interesting charts I've looked at when I was going through all these charts. This is the VIX, the fear index, and you can see even though we're really testing those May lows, the fear index is, you know, we were well off the highs of the day on Friday. Now that typically does happen on a week, on a end of the week. You do tend to get volatility getting sucked out of the market a little bit. But you know, we're not up around. Even though we're testing these lows, you would think if there was real fear in the markets, we'd be up in the 30s on the fear indicator, and we're not. But we are starting to trend up there. So again, I think we'll see what the Fed says next week, because they are meeting and going to be making a interest rate announcement. The dollar really strong here, and you can see I mentioned that already. Strong on Thursday and then gapped up on that CPI news Friday. So dollar very strong here. Bitcoin is really quite interesting here. Again, making another interesting move. You can see here we're breaking down below 28,000 right now. Bitcoin is heading lower by the looks of it. Really looking weak. This low that was made back on May 9th, sort of the 25,000, 26,000 area. We're not far off that, so watch for Bitcoin. Bitcoin again, here's this 200-day moving average, which will probably act as some support on the way down. So interesting move on Bitcoin over the weekend here. It will be interesting to see how that opens on Monday. Some stuff I'm watching. I'm still in this charge point. I have sold some 17 calls up here, and against the shares I own. We did get a pullback. Everything in the market got sold on Friday, just about everything. There were a few things that I got bid up, but ChargePoint has been fairly strong, so I've had a nice move on it. So I'm still holding on to that one. Gold and silver made an interesting move Friday on this inflation news. You can see here a really significant engulfing candle, and sometimes that often that leads to a higher move. But we are still range bound, so you can see here there's the range on the gold, the Spider gold shares, and so I'll be looking for a breakout here. If we can break out above this moving average. I did buy some gold on Friday because it early on that move, and still holding some of it. So we'll see if we can actually break out on next week. One of our moderators in the room also noted it. So IBM's been interesting. I had this on my watch list from last week. It was breaking out. It pulled back. So I'll be looking for a pullback to about a 130, somewhere in that level, maybe, and then reassess it. Maybe take an entry on IBM. But you can see on a month we've been really breaking out here. IBM making a move. So here's my Bitcoin play maybe for next week. If we really start to sell off, this MicroStrategy is heavily invested in Bitcoin. It has a lot further to drop here, and you can see the volatility on this. It can go down quite rapidly, so I'll be looking to see what Bitcoin is doing on Monday morning and maybe taking a short position on MicroStrategies. You could also do Coinbase is another one. Tesla just on Friday after the market closed, I believe they announced a 3-for-1 stock split. So they are going to give every shareholder they're going to take their 1 share back and give them 3. So this will reduce the price of Tesla. But you saw what happened with Amazon. Amazon ran up into that split and then sold off. And I'll be watching for Tesla to do the same, playing it on both sides, both the run up and after the split. But this split isn't actually going to happen till August, so we'll see. We'll have to wait some for that to happen. But it already popped up after hours on Friday. So you can see here this is USO, been on a nice move up, oil fund. And I think oil is just going to continue to go higher. We may get a bit of a pullback here, but oil going up, and then the XLE, we had a sell-off with the rest of the market here on Friday. So, but I still think there's room to the upside on the energy sector, even though everything was down on the week, including energy. So that's it, everybody. It's kind of what I'm watching and where things are going, but I think there's going to be more volatility and probably some more downside. But you know, in these down markets, you can always have these rally days, just like you see here, down rally, and then you get these vicious counter trend moves. So watch for that, and don't get too complacent when you see a nice move back up. So that's it. So wrapping things up here quickly, this is where we are right now on all the indexes. Here's your areas of support, which are probably more critical than these areas of resistance right now, but we are pretty close to support based on where we are right now on a lot of these levels. So watching for further breakdown next week through these different levels I've outlined here. Economic news, of course, we've got another big week coming up here. Fed meeting on Wednesday with this interest rate announcement. What's it going to be? Is it going to be 0.5 as they've been sticking with, or with this new information about the inflation, are we going to get a higher number? There's some speculation and some thoughts that maybe they should be going 0.75 or even 1% and just swallow the pill, the big pill all at once. So we'll see what happens, but I suspect Powell is not going to surprise the market with anything. That's my guess. Anyway, retail sales on Wednesday as well. That'll be an interesting read. And housing starts on Thursday. This coming week, pretty light on earnings. Got Oracle after the market on Monday. Kruger Thursday before the market open, and Adobe. Adobe's going to be interesting after the market closed Thursday, and then we've got Trip.com after the market on Friday. So that's it, everybody. Have a great rest of the weekend, and looking forward to seeing you 8 o'clock on Monday morning, where we'll be starting out with YouTube live and taking you into the pre-market show. Cheers, everybody. Have a good one. Bye for now.